Back home on Dalal Street, the market ended at day's high. The Sensex ended the day about 350 points higher and reclaimed 36,000, while Nifty neared that 10,900 mark. And amongst the broader markets, the Nifty Bank rallied over 1%, while the midcaps underperformed the key indices. And we have Nigel who will tell us what are the cues that we need to watch out in today's trade.
Well, Sonal, it was good to see that the markets, Indian markets, started off the week on a positive note. Remember, when you're starting off on a winning note, you require the global cues to be positive, and that's precisely what it was. Yesterday, you had all the markets. If you're talking about the Shanghai market, you had all the Asian markets that were doing well. As the European markets as well did fairly well. Now, the Nifty ended at the high point of the day and turned positive for 2019. Now, that actually looks quite good. But actually, we're up, what, not even 0.5% odd. And you have the Shanghai market that's up 20%. You have the Brazilian index that's up 10%. And you also have the Dow that's up nearly around 12% in this year. But the good part is, at least in terms of technical levels, we crossed the 200 DMA mark on on the closing basis. And importantly, last 4 sessions, we're going at a run rate of nearly around 60-65 points on a per session basis. Because we are on a winning streak after losing nearly around 450 points in the previous 8 trading sessions. So actually, yesterday, though we did well, it was relative underperformance. But what's going to give us some bit of hope today is that Brent crude prices have corrected nearly around $2 to around $3 overnight. The tweet coming in from Donald Trump asking the OPEC to bring those prices down, that I think will have a positive rub-off in today's trading session. Now, if we're looking at the Nifty, we did well yesterday. That's because of a couple of factors. Both the pillars did well. The IT index, the banking index, both of them did very, very well. And the advance decline ratio was more in favor of the advances than declines. And the breadth of the market as well has been looking quite good over the last few trading sessions. Though yesterday, the mid-cap index was a relative underperformer because it ended high with a gain of only around 0.4% when you have the Nifty that ended high with a gain of more than 0.5%. But another positive out there is that quality stocks were getting bought yesterday. Motherson Sumi, remember, ROC of more than 35% odd. That stock, in fact, ended virtually at the high point of the day after seeing a 4% rally in Friday's trading session. So that's telling you that there is some buying in quality mid-cap names as well. The FI flows, well, they looked good, but there was a lot of inter-promoter, there's a lot of fund switching actually out there. So large buy numbers, what we got, 2,000 crores. The DIs, though, they use that opportunity to offset some part of what they have bought in the cash market. The FIs and the FNO, well, the Qs are looking positive. They added longs, they bought calls yesterday, and they wrote puts as well. So those cues looked fairly positive, but we're in expiry week. So anything can happen. Expect volatility to pick up as well. But in an uptrending market, when you see put addition and calls getting unwound, that's telling you the bulls believe that they can defend lower levels. 10,750, 10,800 put, 10,850 put. You put them together, nearly around 20 lakh shares were added between these 3 puts. And there was call writing earlier. All those call writers, they were fearing that if this rally gets extended on the upside, they could lose a lot of money. So there was unwinding on a whole host of calls yesterday. Technical levels we're looking at, that should come up for you on the screen. The Nifty has retraced nearly around 60% of what we lost in the previous 8 trading sessions. And if we're looking at technical levels, well, yesterday we closed above the 10,860 odd mark. That's going to be important support now on the downside. So 50 DMA and 200 DMA, that's going to be most important right now. And also you have the highest open interest at 10,700 put. So that'll act as a bit of a support. Resistance seen, 10,950. The bears, they like to defend the 11,000 mark. Downside, 10,850. The bulls will feel they can defend that mark as well.
Okay, then a lot of positive cues are coming in, but we'll have to see if continued buying is what we see. But a lot of stocks will also be in focus, Nigel. What are you looking at today?
Before we get to the stocks, SkyMed, they came out with a small note yesterday. And now elections, that's going to be one big trigger. But irrespective of, who comes to power and what kind of a government we have, SkyMed, is going to be, we're going to be tracking what's going to happen with the monsoons, because irrespective who comes into power, you'll have to keep an eye out on the monsoon. If we have a normal monsoon, that'll be great news for any government and for the stock markets as well. So they're saying there's more than 50% chance of a normal monsoon. They'll give us a next update in a month or so. So we'll keep an eye out on that front. Moving to stocks, HPCL is going to be excluded from the Nifty at the end of March. So we'll keep an eye out on that stock. Britannia, it's making its way into the Nifty. So the stock ended actually virtually at the high point of the day yesterday. Should open up in the green today. Eicher Motors, that strike, that was the illegal strike at their Oragadam plant in Chennai. That's been sorted out. All 3 plants are functioning, so watch out for that stock in the green. And smaller stocks like a Bliss GVS, there the FI limit has been increased. That normally has a positive sentiment rub-off. And Tejas Networks, they've launched the world's first ultra-converged broadband product. So maybe we would keep an eye on that stock. It's been a big underperformer, seen a sharp correction from the top. And in terms of legal and court action, well, we'll keep an eye out on the hearing in terms of Fortis IH healthcare case and also Robert Vadra. He's going to be appearing before the ED. So, keep an eye out on both those two events as well.
All right, Nigel, thanks a lot for that. We'll be keeping these stocks on our radar today. But for now, let's slip into a short break. Up next, Prime Minister Modi hits out at the UPA government at the News 18 Rising India Summit. Highlights of the PM speech on the other side. Stay tuned.